It's my last day in Hong Kong, but I'm going to still enjoy myself a little more before I've got to go. Starting by going into East Tsim Sha Tsui Station. Going to take the Tuen Ma line toward Tuen Mun. And my destination today from East Tsim Sha Tsui Station is Tin Shui Wai, 8 stops away. And here's the train. Let's get on. I'm in Kowloon now. That's where I started my journey, but I'm going to the new territories. If you don't know much about Hong Kong's geography, there's 3 main parts to it. Hong Kong Island, Kowloon, and the new territories. The new territories is probably the most forgotten of them. Most tourists tend to spend most of their time in Hong Kong Island and Kowloon, as these have a lot of the main attractions. But I think there's a lot of charming stuff in the new territories too, so I'm glad we can have a chance to go there today. Off we go. We're in the new territories now, and the train is above ground. Both big buildings, into a little bit of a tunnel. Both big buildings and vegetation, as you can see. The new territories is much less densely populated than Hong Kong Island, and even less so than Kowloon. That's not to say there aren't plenty of people living in the new territories, as you can tell by all these residential buildings. But a lot of people here are clustered into a few settlements, like this one, Yuen Long. There's very large open areas of the new territories with no development. Here it is, Tin Shui Wai. Gonna head down out of the station. But my train journey today isn't done. I need to head for the light rail to complete it. Heading for light rail platform 1. You tap in here. Oh, there's my train. There's no fare gate, so you're kind of on the honor system here. Like a number of other systems, it's not technically on your honor. It's proof of payment, where they can come on board and ask you to please show that you paid. Like, give them your octopus card or your single journey ticket to show you paid. And if you didn't, they can give you a hefty fine. And here we are on the light rail, heading around Tin Shui Wai to our destination. Stops here are just pretty small stations like this, pretty close together too. Seems like you get to one pretty much every minute. The next stop is mine, Wetland Park. Before leaving, I need to swipe my card one more time. However, my ride on the light rail was free, or more correctly, was included with the cost of my ride on the big MTR train. Got across the tracks here. Green taxi cabs coming through here. In Kowloon, Hong Kong Island, and even some parts of the new territories that are close to those areas, the taxis are all red. Up here you can occasionally find red taxis, but there's mostly green ones. The red ones are allowed to go anywhere in Hong Kong. The green ones can only go in the more remote parts of the new territories. And the idea behind that is to make sure these areas do get taxi service and that all the taxis don't just congregate in Kowloon and Hong Kong Island. There's even one more kind, the light blue kind, that you can find only on Lantau Island. But since we're not going to Lantau Island on this trip, we won't see any of those. And as you might have guessed from the station I went to, my destination for today is the Hong Kong Wetland Park. You might not think of Hong Kong as a place that would have wetlands, but it does. Here in the new territories in particular, you don't get quite such a high degree of urban development. It's just not the concrete jungle you might expect of Hong Kong. For that matter, neither is the south of Hong Kong Island, where I went a while ago to Dragon's Back. That's on the south side of Hong Kong Island. Here we are beginning to walk through the wetlands. It warns me that birds have ears. Please be quiet. I'm told there are supposed to be some interesting birds to see sometimes here, but do not expect me to be able to identify them. I am not much of a birder. You can see we're on a bit of a boardwalk here, which allows the wetlands here to remain a wetlands. Even as we walk through them. Right now, mostly just plants we can see here, but I'll keep my eye out if there's anything else. I can definitely hear some birds, though. And here we are out in a more open wetland area. If you can see that big building over there, that's not a skyscraper on Hong Kong Island. That's actually in Shenzhen, over the border with mainland China. We're pretty close to that. Now, I wonder what that was that just made a splash there. A frog or something? I don't know. Either way, nice to enjoy the green and the quiet. Very marshy here. Apparently this is water hyssop. Water poppy here. Continuing. Got some very much wilted lotuses here. It's not the right season for them to bloom. More of the beautiful wetlands. And over there you can see some of the residential buildings of Tin Shui Wai. Waterfowl out here. Pretty distant view, but we can see them. And beyond it, the skyline of Shenzhen. They're disturbing the water. Kind of a flock or a gaggle or whatever it's called of ducks going over there. Cool. This way goes to the mangrove boardwalk, but I'm told that that part is closed, which is a bummer. It was a fun thing to do, I remember that. Yeah, here it is. Sadly, it's closed. Yeah, it seems a bit dilapidated. I guess they do need to do some maintenance. Very muddy here. Deep into the wetlands now. Well, kind of an interesting little forest we're just sort of in the middle of now. Creaky little board there. Cool. Look at how twisty these branches are. All dense, grown together. Can't even tell where one tree begins and the other one ends. But I can see from the trunks that there are multiple trees here. But they're all kind of grown into each other. Ooh, we got some sort of blue or purple flowers here. And some more kind of pink or purple ones here. Very nice. This area is called the butterfly garden, but it's not really the right season for butterflies now. No butterflies, but we have got a bird. Oh, the bird has flown. Here's one. It's easier to see the leaves rustling than the bird itself, but I think you can see it. At least I can. Not super sure how well it comes out on the camera. Interesting color, sort of a yellowish green on that bird. Probably to camouflage with the leaves. I should. Boardwalk out over some water. And over here we can see some lovely plants. Some very nice purple flowers. And these plants near here that are mostly barren do seem to have some old seed pods on them. Some pretty nice high trees, including some conifers, which you don't run into tons of conifers in Hong Kong and southern China. As a whole. Yes, also on our way toward the housing estates in Tinshui. Trees out there are full of birds. Though they seem quite content to just sit around there. I suppose I can't blame them. I mean, I'm sitting down in this little hut to view them. Oh, there goes one flying. Fly away, bird. I'm guessing from this display that those birds with the darker plumage are black kites. If there's anyone out there who knows your birds better than I do, you can tell me if you think that's correct. Here we've got the bauhinia flower, which is the emblem of Hong Kong, though you can also find it in Guangdong province. But it's especially associated with Hong Kong because it's found on the Hong Kong regional flag and on all Hong Kong coinage since 1993, since they stopped putting the picture of Queen Elizabeth on the coins, since they were no longer going to be a British colony after 1997. Of course, other countries are now phasing out their Queen Elizabeth II coins since she died a few months ago at the time I'm filming this. But they phased them out here way back in 1992. Mud flats out here. Some birds flying and resting on the water. White egret off in the distance there. A lot of egrets over there. Just sitting around. Closer to here would seem to be some ducks. Here's a bit of what we can see of the currently closed mangrove boardwalk. Little bird there. Let's see if we can get close enough to see it. Got some little, I'm not super sure if those are lizards or salamanders wandering in the mud. Oh, and more birds. Bird poking its beak into the water, presumably for food. Starting to make my way out of the park now. One more vista point here before we go. We got a pretty good view of an egret here. Got some other dark colored birds out here. Can't really tell what kind they are though. That one there is just spreading its wings. In the big pond here. There's Tin Shui Wai, where we're about to go. I lied, there's still one more viewing point here with an even better view of this black bird just spreading its wings. Now leaving the Hong Kong Wetland Park. Back to Tin Shui Wai. And back to the Wetland Park light rail station. I'll use the light rail to get back to the MTR, to the Tuen Ma line, and from there I'll make my way back to Kowloon. back in Kowloon, I'll get some lunch, and then it'll be time for me to make my way to West Kowloon Station to leave Hong Kong for mainland China. So my journey to Hong Kong is coming to an end, but I will probably make a video showing my way back to mainland China. So if you want to see that, this would be a great time to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. See you all next time. Bye.